deck?
So this is my regional topping Infernoble Knight deck profile. It went 5-1, but beat the undefeated person for the final round, and that was enough to push me to the top. It's going to be slightly different than the last profile I did on this channel, where we cut the Phantom Knights because we didn't feel like Appaloosa was doing us enough good. Saves me from nib, but I have options already to save me from nib, and it makes my board just a little weaker in the end. All right.
Is there any shout-outs you want to give before we start?
Shout out to Todd and Sterling, my driving buddies from here. Todd also has a channel, Dino Duelist Academy, great channel. He updates pretty frequently. Go ahead and check that out too. I have some old profiles there as well, and some old duel videos so you can see me getting my ass kicked.
Alright.
Alright. So let's get into it. Starting with the main deck, our normal summon, and probably the best normal summon in the game in my opinion. 3 Neospace Connector and the engineering requirement of Aqua Dolphin. He forces Ash, he forces effect failures, does not force the Imperm, but a lot of people are stupid enough to use the Imperm on the Neospace Connector instead, which means that you feel safe for the rest of the combo. Gets you hand knowledge, and a lot of people don't know this or don't bother to use this, but he also has a second effect that can revive the Aqua Dolphin from grave, and Aqua Dolphin is a soft once per turn, so you can rip twice with Dolphin using Connector. Alright, moving on, our last normal summon is Infernoble Knight Ogier. It's how we get access to Gear Freed before 5th summon, and to save ourselves from nib if we see it in hand. It's also protects Charles as an equip spell and has enough attack to beat over Barrier Statue, which is kind of important right now. Moving on to our extenders, we play triple Super Quantum Red Layer. It's really powerful. You see it plus Neospace Connector, the likelihood is you're winning that thing, or you're at least playing through a 1 or 2 hand traps. It has an effect to add back a red layer, which paired with Droplet can give us a couple free options. Yeah. We then play 2 Firefront Ladies. Some lists have them at 3. I don't particularly like it. You need room for hand traps and other tech cards. So, yeah. Other important thing, if you need a tuner from hand, but you don't want to send as many as quick spells, you can send 1 special out Firefront Lady, and then Firefront Lady can tribute itself to special the tuner from your hand. Sorry, as long as it's a warrior. And then that warrior can't be targeted. So there's a couple useful ways to use that. We play 2 Renon. Again, I found 3 Cloggy. He's a combo piece. He gets you gear freed before 4th summon. He's consistency. He grabs your DDR so you can use Isolde again. He does a lot for the deck, and he's probably the best Infernoble Knight. He is also our first tuner extender. Our second one being Infernoble Knight Oliver. Amazing card. If I could play it for, I would play it for, just because it's our only one that can special itself without anything on the board. It becomes a 1-star, so you can make Herald with it. It's a good card. It also helps enable our anti-targeting lock with Metal Silver, because while it's equipped to a monster, you cannot target them. Or sorry, your opponent can't target them. Rounding out our main deck Fire Warriors, we have 2 Immortal Phoenix Gear Freed. My shame here, but I found that 3 is too much, 1 is too little, because you really want to see it going second. It's such a strong card, it can break boards really easy as long as you bait 1 or 2 negates beforehand. And in a simplified game state, this thing will do so much for you. out striker, outs things like dragoon. Yeah. All right. Then for our bricks, we have one secret 6 samurai gemba. These are normal special summon off of Isolde. Sometimes we extend and go for 4 instead to bring out an Oliver. But he's a fire warrior, so he's also fine to summon if you have a Renaud in hand already. He also lets us put up a more combo board if we see that ripping is not going to be an option. Say if we get Lanced. Then one Colt Wing. You see it in your hand sometimes. It's part of the game. We have ways to pitch it, and from grave you can still do a little bit if you get into grave before you make your power tool or your first power tool. And then one Despot 001. Also loved my hand today. Saw it maybe 4 or 5 games, but we managed it. All right. Moving on to the main deck spells and traps, we play 3 Heritage of the Chalice, extra copy of Renaud, extra copy of Oliver, copy of Durandal if you want to get to Red Layer, because it can search Noble Arms too. It also can search Old School Arms, which is important for our side deck. We then play 1 Rhoda. For a warrior deck, it's mandatory. It searches Neospace Connector. We play 3 Durandal. We play 3 for Power Tool, but we also want 3 just because it's a search spell, it's strong. The second effect doesn't come up as much, but you can use it if you equip it to Charles instead of Nettle Silver during the end phase, so that if they out it, you can special back your Renaud and get a equipped spell during your opponent's turn. We play 3 DDR, 3 because we want to see it with Power Tool. Very strong. One card lets you bring back your Isolde, lets you bring back your Balmung, lets you bring back Charles and pop with it at the same time. Yeah. And honestly, you see 2 of those in your hand. Once your opponent's broken your board, you feel pretty fine. We play 1 Metal Silver Armor. I know a lot of people call it a Winmore brick, but honestly, it's a very strong thing. It gets you the wins in the grind matches, and most importantly, it makes you win games that you have no business winning because you get Lanced. Blocking your opponent out of targeting is really strong. 1 Phoenix Blade. The reason why Lancia is good against this deck, it's how we enable DDR. Yeah. So sometimes it's it's combo piece, and a card that was definitely never intended to be this such thing. And then rounding out our quick spells, we play 1 Living Fossil. Brings back a Herald to make it a negate still. Brings back your tuners if you had to use them to get to Isolde in the first place. Yeah. We play 2 Triple Talents in the Tactics Talents in the main. I used to have this at 3, but sometimes it's just not good enough. If you don't already have an extender in hand, you really don't want to use the draw effect because the likelihood that you draw into Colt Wing is really low, but it happens, so yeah. And then we play the 1 Called by the Grave. We could play 3, we'd play 3, yeah.
How many cards in the main deck?
42.
42? All right.
We play then 2 as our tech spots. Our remaining tech spots are 3 Forbidden Droplets. We don't want to get we don't want to get Scythe locked. We can do things, but if once they know you're on Infernoble, I've seen people set up Lancia and Scythe and get both off. And yeah, no, don't want to deal with that. Then we play 3 Imperms. It's the most you can set it. It gives you an option that's not from hand, and the columns can help you play in difficult control matchups. Also, just effect negation is good. Yeah. Moving on to the extra deck. We are only on one Izol. Some people do too. I think that because you can bring it back with DDR, it's fine to have one. You miss it sometimes, but it bends the bricks. You need options or room in your side. Right? One Hulk. We're a Hulk combo deck. We're probably going to lose them soon, and then don't know what the deck's going to do next. One Aurorodon. Yeah. Lets you bring out the tokens, respect the 001, and then you special out Colt Wing to keep comboing. We then play 2 Power Tool Dragons. We use both. If you don't have a way to Renaud in hand already, you try for double DDR. Remember that you can use 2 DDRs to still get to Omega, even if you already had to go through Renaud. Yeah. One Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack. We overlay a Power Tool with Colt Wing for this. It's more tokens. And 001 again. Balmung. This is how we cycle back Colt Wing. Once you've made Dracossack, you bring out 2 tokens, make Balmung with the Despot that special summons itself back. Dracossack tributes one of the tokens, pops Balmung, and suddenly you've got Colt Wing giving you a body on board, and those 2 tokens you just used again, and 001 back again. One Shooting Riser, level modulation so we can get into Charles easy. Roland, reason Charles is actually an interruption. Really great in the Invoked Dogmatica match as well, because it's a free way to boost red layer over the window. One Charles, he pops, he's our interruption, and we use him as a combo piece too. He sets up Metal Silver Lock on himself, which denies your opponent's ability to target anything. Play 2 Herald of the Arclights. Some people cut one of the heralds for Boral's Savage. I think Herald's easier for us to make early on, and it's another way to play around Nib. And also, if you put out 2 heralds, a deck that needs its grave, or to Foolish, or send to grave, is not going to be able to do much, if anything. One Psyframe Lord Omega, we loop our opponent. Nice and simple. Unicorn, we use it to climb up into Access Code Talker. We have free discard fodder with Divine Sword with it, but also we use it a lot of the time just to clear up board if we had to put out, say, a red layer to start, because we didn't want to get stopped on Neo Space Connector. And then one Access Code Talker, lets you clear out games with your opponent's bricks, lets you break boards, really strong card. And you can always just link it away back to Halka Fibrax after to combo once you've broken board. Yeah. Alright, moving on to our side deck. We play 3 evenly matched. Sky Prison, or Lord of the Heavenly Sky Prison, is everywhere, so you need an option that gets rid of back row. It's good against Striker, it's pretty good against Flunder. It's a strong card. We play 3 Lancia in case we see the Phantom Knight. Yes, I play mixed rarities. I'm poor, sorry about it. We decided to do this. I'm not in love with it. In fact, you can probably change these for other things. I just thought that with Flunder and Scythe around, we wanted as much effect negation options as possible going second. Yeah.
Collectors. I think I have like 1 or 2 Sierra cards too.
3 Ash Blossoms. Came up. I was thinking of playing Godarla instead of this, but it's a good card. If you don't know what you're siding on, Ash is always a good call. Alright. And then to round it out, 2 Twin Twisters. Another way to discard a Colt Wing, more a back row option. And Noble Arms Caliburn. Yeah. It's scummy, but it can win you games. You don't have to even let your opponent start their turn. You can just play your normal combo, add it back with Red Odd, equip it to Charles, gain 500 life points. We're playing a combo deck that takes a very long time in a format with Striker and Flu, other decks that can gain without having to actually do anything or hit you without actually doing anything. So having an option to gain life and play out our normal combo and not worry about time is important. It also chain blocks Isolde's first effect if you equip it to a warrior before making Isolde. The gain life is a soft once per turn, so you can even dig yourself out of the hole if you open Neospace Connector, use Dolphin to check hand traps, and then see that they have a monster that's too big to rip. And yeah.
Alright, thank you.